Welcome back to the Profitable Productivity Podcast, where we help nonprofit leaders building thriving teams and achieve lasting success. I'm Trasetta Washington, your host, and I'm excited to dive into a topic that is absolutely crucial for any team, especially in the nonprofit world, and that's trust. Today, we're talking about the power of trust in high performing teams. We'll explore why trust is so essential, the benefits it brings, and practical strategies for building it within your own team. But before we jump in, here's a quick one for you. Before your next team meeting, take a moment to acknowledge each team member's contributions. A simple thank you and a genuine appreciation can go a long way in fostering trust. Right? So let's really get into defining what trust is. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, and it's essentially vital in a team setting. It's that feeling of confidence that you have in your teammates, like knowing that they're going to have your back. You know that they're going to be honest with you and work together towards a shared goal. So I want you to take a moment and think about a time where you were on a team where there was high trust. Think about, how did it feel? Now I want you to contrast that with a team where there was low trust. The difference is night and day, right? When trust is high, teams are able to communicate more openly, they're able to collaborate more effectively, and are more willing to take risks. But when trust is low, well, that's when things can get a bit messy. You'll experience miscommunication, conflict arises, and decreased productivity become kind of the norm. So, to better understand trust, let's break it down, right? Trust isn't just a single thing, right? It has layers to it. Think of it like this: the first layer is credibility, right? Does this person have the skills and the knowledge to do their job effectively? For example, do you trust that your accountant is going to be able to accurately manage the finances of your organization? The next layer is reliability. Can you count on them to follow through on their commitments? Are they going to be able to meet deadlines and deliver on their promises, right? The third layer is intimacy, right? Do they create a safe space for you to be able to share and be vulnerable, right? Can you share your concerns and your ideas without feeling like they're going to judge you, right? And then the final layer of trust is self orientation. Think about, does this person have the team's best interests at heart, or are they primarily focused on themselves? Like, are they self-absorbed? Are they willing to put the needs of the team ahead of their own needs, right? When all four of these elements are present, that's when you have a solid foundation for trust, right? Now, let's dive a little deeper into what the benefits are of having trust within your team. The first one is psychological safety. When team members are able to trust one another, they feel safe to speak up. They feel safe to be able to share their ideas and even make mistakes without feeling like they're going to be judged. This creates a breeding ground for innovation, and it allows people to bring their whole selves to the work that they do. Psychological safety is, it's this belief that you're not going to be punished or humiliated for speaking up with your ideas, any questions you may have, concerns, or even mistakes, right? So it's important for us to create psychological safety within our teams. The second benefit is enhanced communication. Trust fosters open and honest communication. People are more likely to share their thoughts and their concerns, leading to better problem solving, and better decision making, right? This open dialogue is going to help you to prevent misunderstandings and address any issues that you may have before they escalate. So think about it. How much more productive would your team meetings be if everyone felt comfortable sharing their ideas? The third benefit of trust is improved collaboration, right? Trust is the glue that holds a team together. So when people trust one another, they are more likely, or excuse me, they are more willing to work together. They're more willing to support each other and achieve those shared goals. They essentially become this really cohesive unit that is working towards a common purpose. The next benefit is reduced stress, right? If you think back to that low trust environment when you were working on a team, how stressful was that for you? When you have a high trust environment, it's going to reduce stress and increase your job satisfaction. People will feel valued, they'll feel appreciated and supported. And all of that leads to greater well being and a more positive work environment. Who doesn't want that? Another benefit is stronger cohesion, right? Trust creates this sense of belonging and camaraderie. So team members feel connected to one another and they're more likely to go the extra mile for the team. They're going to celebrate each other's successes. And during challenging times, they will also offer support so that, because remember, we're working together for a common goal. Increased productivity is another benefit of trust. Ultimately, trust leads to increased innovation and increased productivity. When teams work together effectively with clear communication and those shared goals, they can achieve some amazing things. And the last benefit that I want to highlight is it can increase employee retention, especially in the nonprofit sector where passion and dedication are really paramount. High trust environments can help to lead to increased employee retention, right? So when your employees feel valued and when they feel trusted, they are more likely to stay with your organization long term, which is going to contribute to the stability and the success of the organization. Now you might be saying, Trasetta, this is all well and good. And I love all these benefits that you're sharing with me, but how do I actually build trust within my team? Or how do I build trust within my organization? Well, I am glad you asked. I'm going to share with you a few practical strategies that you can start to implement in your team or within your organization that can help to build trust. The very first one I'm going to say is to lead by example, right? As the leader, you have to set the tone for your team. Be willing to be vulnerable, be authentic, be trustworthy. Share your own experiences with your team. Don't be afraid to admit when you've made a mistake. Show your team that you are human, right? When you are vulnerable in this way, it's going to foster connection and then it encourages other members of the team to do the same thing. So you got to lead by example. The second strategy I'll share is be open with your communication. Encourage open and honest communication. You want to create a space where your team members feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and sharing their feelings without fear of retribution. You want to actively listen to your team members, acknowledge their perspectives, and be open to feedback, even if it's a little bit of a criticism towards you. We don't want to get defensive here. The third strategy is to connect on a personal level with your team members. Do all you can to create opportunities for team members to connect with you and one another on a personal level. You can do this through team building activities, social events, or even allowing space for a casual conversation. That's going to help to build rapport and build trust. So encourage your team members to get to know one another beyond just their work roles. Now, I'm not saying you've got to divulge all of your lives, spill your guts about your personal life. That's not what I'm saying. But get to know one another beyond just the role that they play within the organization. The fourth strategy is to be very clear with your expectations. When you establish clear expectations and then hold team members accountable, that helps to build trust and reduces confusion, right? Because everyone knows what's expected from them. So clearly define roles, clearly define the responsibilities and those goals. Not only that, you want to provide regular feedback on their performance. Like I said, when you do this, it's going to help to build trust and it reduces that confusion, right? And where there's confusion, there's inefficiency. The fifth strategy that I'll share with you is to recognize and celebrate. Recognize and celebrate. You want to recognize and celebrate all successes, whether they are big or small. This is going to show your team that you value their contributions and appreciate the hard work that they bring to the table. Do this publicly. You want to publicly acknowledge the things that they've achieved and create a culture within your organization and within your team of appreciation. There's countless ways that you can do this. And a simple thank you can be enough, or, writing a handwritten note or giving them a shout out in a team meeting. There's just so many different ways that you can celebrate your team members. And finally, constructive conflict resolution. I don't care how great your team is. Conflict is inevitable, right? It's going to arise, but how you handle conflict is what really matters. So encourage constructive conflict resolution by focusing on finding solutions and not assigning blame, right? You want to create an atmosphere where healthy discussions can be facilitated, right? Encourage people to use active listening and promote a collaborative approach to resolving disagreements. You don't want to choose sides here, right? You want them to come together to work towards a resolution of whatever the disagreement is. Now, things may happen and trust, something can happen and break the trust, right? So what happens when trust ends up getting broken? It's not the end of the world, but it does require intentional effort in order to rebuild it. So here are a few steps that you can take in order to guide you through the rebuilding of trust. One, acknowledge your mistakes. Not just you, but encourage your team members to do this as well, right? So if trust has been broken, the first step is to acknowledge what the mistake is and take responsibility. You don't want to sweep it under the rug or make excuses. We're all adults, right? Own up to your actions and the impact that they have on the team. That goes for you as the leader as well as the team members. You also want to make sure that you communicate openly and transparently about the situation. Explain what happened. Share why it happened and what steps you're going to take to prevent it from happening again. You want to be honest and sincere when you are communicating this. Also, take steps to address the issue and rebuild the trust. This might involve having to apologize, right? Or make amends with the person who felt slighted, or it may involve changing your behavior. You don't want to give lip service here. Show it through your actions that you are committed to regaining the trust of your team. For example, if you missed a deadline, explain what happened. Now, we're not making excuses, we're just explaining what happened. Then you want to make sure that you apologize sincerely and then share a plan to ensure that it doesn't happen again. If you gave incorrect information, acknowledge the error, provide the correct information promptly, and then implement some sort of system to double check information in the future. Listen, we all get busy and we just kind of take for granted, but you want to put some sort of system in place to make sure that you don't have that happen again in the future. And then you also want to recognize that it's going to take time. Whenever trust has been broken, rebuilding trust takes time. And not only that, it takes consistent effort, right? You're not going to have a quick fix. There's no such thing. You're going to have to demonstrate your commitment to rebuilding that trust through your actions, not through your words, through your actions. So be patient, be persistent, and if you do that, eventually trust can be restored, right? So I want you to think about your own team. How would you rate the level of trust that you have within your own team right now? Are there any areas where you could improve? I encourage you to take some time to reflect on this and identify any potential issues that might be there. Now, if you're looking to build trust and improve your own team dynamics, then I encourage you to check out my Teamwork Tune-Up Intensive. It's a one-day workshop that's designed to help teams strengthen their relationships, improve communication, and achieve greater results. If you want to learn more about it or discuss your team's specific needs, I'm happy to offer you a free consultation. You can schedule a time to chat with me at chatwithtrasetta.com. I'll include the link to my calendar in the show notes so that you can schedule that time. And for nonprofit leaders, fostering trust it's not just about productivity, right? It's about empowering your team to make a real difference in the world. By cultivating a high trust environment, you start to unlock your team's full potential and enable your organization to achieve its mission. Not only that, you can create lasting and positive change. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in to Profitable Productivity with Trasetta Washington. I hope you found this episode valuable. And until next time, keep leading with purpose and building those high-performing teams.